Hey everyone, Superman here, coming to you with a DCUO video. Um, I'm just coming to you real quick to make a video of the latest blog, The Hunt for Kryb. I know I'm a little behind on it, but I have been just kind of doing things IRL that took up a little bit of my time to really get the video out. I was going to do it the day of, but the time I seen it and the time it was posted, I actually had to do something the next day and I had to wake up very early. So, um, I actually whipped up the time to do it, but let's just get right into it. Kind of just going through the latest blog, um, and I'm just gonna kind of read off of it, and we can discuss it in the comment section, um, and how you feel about it, whatever the case may be. But let's get right into it. Sector 2814, Danvers Resistance, Midvale. Carzarel frowned as she lifted her bed to reveal a partially chewed red boot. Nearby, a white dog in a red cape looked incredibly guilty as she turned to face him, boot in hand. Really, Crypto? I just got these boots. How am I supposed to go on patrol with one good boot and one chewed up boot covered in dog slobber? Crypto offered a meek whine in response as the frustrated Kryptonian groaned in irritation. The admonition was quickly interrupted by the sudden appearance of a hologram emitting from a small card sitting atop of a desk. Supergirl, your presence is required, said the hollow of the Android Justice Leaguer Red Tornado. Prior one mission in Sector 2262. 2262, that's Mogo, isn't it? Kara replied. Aren't there any Green Lanterns in that area? The alert was logged by a Green Lantern. The hologram replied, Guy Gardner to be precise. Guy? Great, not Hal, not Kyle, not John, but Guy, said Carl. Tell him I'm on my way. Ready, Supergirl out. As Crypto looked on, Kara pulled her plaid shirt open to reveal the S shield of the House of L on the uniform she wore underneath. Looks like this is a job for Supergirl, buddy, Kara said to her canine pal. Try not to drool and chew on the rest of my boots while I'm away, okay? Good boy. Um, Sector 2262, Green Lantern Corps Command Center, Planet Mogo. Hey, Kara, been a minute. Been a minute, huh? Gardner said, smiling as the form of Supergirl teleported it into view. Sorry about this short notice, but I need some help in this case. What do you know about a real piece of work called Kryb? Supergirl frowned in response. Not much, really. She's Sinestro Corps, right? She said, oh yeah, and kind of wrecked her when you were a Red Lantern a lot. Don't judge, Guy replied. You are a Red Lantern too, remember? And she was, don't remind me. Not my finest hour, Supergirl said, frustrated at the memories of a time when the driving force in her life was pure, unbridled rage. I know that Crib was, dead. She should be so lucky, Guy said. Don't you know how, but she survived. Or don't know how, but she survived. And she's up to her old tricks again, experimenting on people with Kryptonian tech. Seriously, where'd she get her hands on you know what? Never mind, Kara. Supergirl replied angrily. I'm in. Let's find this crib and put a stop to all this. Now that's what I'm talking about, Guy replied. Enthused, let's roll Supergirl. Um, Going off the first part of that, that kind of answers the um, little bit that a lot of people were wondering when it came to the Supergirl being a Red Lantern. And I know I had a friend who actually questioned, like, how did it come about of them meeting when it came to Supergirl being a Red Lantern and Guy Gardner and everything. And that's kind of the answer to that. So there's a lot of things cleared up with that. Now, after that good part, at least now we know that Supergirl's involved, how they met. So it seems like Supergirl went to Mogo and talked to Guy Gardner about it. And they were kind of just trying to figure out everything about Kryb. They both talked about how they were both Red Lanterns. So that's pretty interesting. I'm kind of glad that that was discussed to kind of clear that Red Lantern part up because now that kind of brings up the fact that why the Red Lanterns were involved a lot. Um, so that makes sense. Same with being Yellow Lanterns. Now it kind of all makes sense on why they were all involved, except for obviously from the past story arcs. This one kind of makes sense. So it seems like what they're doing is kind of keeping it, at least for this story arc, or at least for this blog, they're keeping it involved with last story arc it's merging a little bit into this one when it comes to like the lanterns, Red Lantern and Yellow Lantern specifically. But it seems like they're trying to turn it back into more of a Yellow Lantern thing. So it seems like the Yellow Lanterns are going to be the main base of this. Um, Others could see it differently, but that's how I'm kind of seeing it. It seems like it's going to be Yellow Lantern base now more than Red Lanterns. Like the Red Lanterns are kind of done, and we're not going into Lanterns, but the Yellow Lanterns are going to be involved, so we're still going to have a little bit of Lantern going on. Um, but to get into the second part, Sector 2010, Deep Space. You hard of hearing? I ain't see that forearmed freak, and that's beginning to get on my last nerves. The main man ain't used to coming up empty-handed when he's tracking down a sweet bounty like the one on her ugly head. So it seems like we're getting Lobo into this now, which is actually pretty dope. Um, so here's where Lobo comes in. So from what it's looking like, it seems like we have Supergirl, we have Lobo, we have Guy Gardner so far with Kryb. Um, Obviously, I'm pretty sure we're gonna get more because I know in the sneak peek or the interview and everything, they were talking about having being in Atlantis and everything like that. So we have a few more characters coming in, but it seems like Lobo is gonna be a part of it, tying into the Supergirl thing. So it looks like they're adding Supergirl movie based stuff with Lobo and Supergirl being involved, which makes sense. Um, but let's continue. So Guy Gardner and Supergirl shared a dubious look at the Kenzarnian. I low key forgot how to say his race. I'm not gonna lie. Kazarnian, I think it is. Bounty hunter known as Lobo raged in front of them. You wouldn't be lying to us, would you, Lobo? Maybe Kryb paid you more to look the other way, Supergirl replied. That ain't how the main man operates, sister, and you know it. Once I take a bounty, I don't quit until they are brought in, or fragged and tagged, get me? Alright, well, try and hold off on fragging, okay? We need to stop her recovering the Kryptonian tech she's stolen and rescue the people she's abducted, Supergirl said. Alright, I'll do my best not to put that yellow monster into the grave, but the main man plays rough. This Kryb resists too much. Bad things can happen. Get me? Loud and clear, tough guy, Guy Gardner said. We got places to be. Let us know if you find her, alright? Main man's got places to do. Bolt cut. Lobo replied smirkingly. No, that ain't good bars in this sector. So that's pretty dope. So it looks like we are going to have Lobo involved in searching for Kryb. Now, the one thing I hope gets answered while reading this is where Kryb got the Kryptonian tech from. Um, and how they got it and where they got it from is where I would try to figure out. Like, that's the one thing I want to figure out. Where did Kryb get the Kryptonian tech from? And I'm guessing it's Argo, but at the same time, I don't know. I feel like she stole Kryptonian tech from somewhere else. Excuse me. I feel like Kryb took Kryptonian tech from something else or from somewhere else, and they have to go to Argo to figure it out. But hold on one second. But let's try to continue to see because we are now going into Sector 2682, Thanagar, which is actually pretty interesting. I wonder how Thanagar is going to get involved. And another thing, Guy yelled, raising his glowing green power ring. You and your crusty ancient weapons don't hold a candle to Green Arrow and his, well, arrows. That's it, Gardner. You're about to find out what these ancient weapons can do the hard way, Hawkman bellowed before drawing a particularly vicious long sword. Oh, for enough. Stand down, boys, and I'm going to give you both a taste of this. We clear? Hawkgirl commanded, striking an open palm with the business end of her nith metal mace. As the two men lowered their respective weapons, Supergirl released a sigh of relief, always the case with these two. She thought to herself, always gotta be the toughest one in the room. So that's pretty interesting getting Hawkgirl and Hawkman involved because they are involved with a lot of things. So I wonder how they're actually going to involve themselves more when it comes to these or this story arc. So that's pretty interesting to see. And as a side note, I do love the pictures that they're putting into this blog. Just saying, the pictures are great. But let's continue. Now, as we were saying, Kara Hawkgirl said while standing between Guy and Hawkman, we haven't seen any sign of Kryb or any alerts relating to abductions or stolen Kryptonian technology. Sorry. No worries, Kendra. Supergirl replied. Please let us know if you find anything, okay? And I'm sorry about all this. Come on, Guy. You know I'm right, Feathers. Guy snarled to Hawkman as the transport beam enveloped in him and Supergirl. I have no idea what Ice sees in that thug, Hawkman muttered. As the two visitors disappeared into the aether, she'd be better off with Lobo. Carter, no one is better off with Lobo, not even Lobo. Hawkeye replied, shaking her head. Let's see what we can find out about this Kryb, okay? So, this is pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie. This is actually a pretty nice blog to kind of start off this story arc. I'm not gonna lie, because it just seems like the interactions of the characters and how everything is playing out and playing and like planning itself out, playing out. It just seems like now it was Red Tornado who gave Supergirl a signal to let her know something, and Supergirl's going to Guy, and now Supergirl and Guy Gardner, and then they went to Lobo, and then they after Lobo they went to Hawkgirl and Supergirl, Hawkman and Hawkgirl. So while they're trying to search for Kryb, but it's pretty interesting because Kryb was just on Mogo, so that's pretty nice to know. And we haven't seen anything of Hope yet, which is actually another thing that I was hoping that they would put into, but probably in future blogs. Um, but that's pretty dope how Supergirl and Guy Gardner are getting involved with each other and kind of going through everything with everybody, trying to figure out information on Kryb and seeing where Kryb is at. Um, Surprisingly enough, I'm surprised Crypto didn't tag along as one thing. Crypto didn't tag along. Um, but that kind of just makes me curious on he probably is going to show up later. But then again, this is just the first blog and it's just going to be the first story arc. So who knows what we're going to get later on in other story arcs and blogs. But to kind of continue, Sector 38 Deep Space. Looks like someone sold you a bill of goods, folks, Mr. Miracle said, shrugging. No one matching the description of Kryb has been spotted on Apocalypse, though I gotta say, she'd fit right in with Darkseid and his minions. Okay, this one's new. Can't wait to get into that after reading this. Great and Goodness would probably make a wreck like that a fury. Big Barda added, perhaps even their leader. Yeah, a happy thought. There's a happy thought, Guy murdered. Shaking his head, the thought of those two working together, yeesh. We appreciate you looking into this for us, Supergirl replied, rubbing her temple in frustration. Guy and I would kind of stand out on Apocalypse, but how to get in and out unseen, so thanks. Don't mention it, Supergirl, Mr. Miracle said with a reassuring smile. Good luck tracking her down, okay? And if you need any help submitting this Kryb, do not hesitate to contact us, said Big Barda. I would very much like to smite that monster many times. You and me both, Guy said, grinning. You and me both. So Kryb seems like this person Cribs seems like they've been a problem for a long time. Is what I'm also kind of getting reading through these parts of it. Seems like Crib has been a behind the scenes kind of villain. Like it seems like Crib has been one of them Yellow Lanterns has been just through a lot and going through a lot. I don't know too much about Crib. This is my first time actually hearing about this character. If you know information on Crib, definitely leave it in the comment section down below because I have no idea who this person is. I know there is comics about Kryb though, but I might have to do some digging on it. But this is my first time hearing about Kryb, and it seems like they have been a Yellow Lantern villain problem for the longest. For the Justice League members, clearly. Um, but on a side note, having Apocalypse and Darkseid being involved is kind of crazy. Um, that one's gonna be a little interesting because now that kind of starts to add the questions of like everything that's been happening lately, especially for the past four story arcs. But then looking at Apocalyptic Gotham City, kind of adds into that. Even though Harley Quinn and Apocalypse versus Apocalypse was a different comic section in itself, but having Darkseid be mentioned and Apocalypse be mentioned is pretty interesting. So I genuinely, this kind of makes me more anxious to get to the um, story arc, because now with these blogs, what's genuinely gonna be everything in it. You know what I mean? Like we went from Atlantis to Supergirl, going to Guy, going to Thanagar, going to Deep Space, and then getting mentioned, Apocalypse mentioned, Lobo's being mentioned. Um, so it's a lot. So it seems like it's gonna be pretty interesting. Like this is kind of dope. I can't genuinely wait for this. Like they're on planet Mogo, then they go to Deep Space, then they go to Thanagar, then they're back in Deep Space talking to Mr. Miracle, who's probably gonna be another asset. But you know, with these blogs, they kind of add a whole bunch of people um, throughout the time anyway, or mention them throughout the blogs, but they might not show up in the arc. But who knows? You know, keep your eyes open for that. But getting into the last part of this blog, Sector 2814, the Watchtower. One bad lead after another, Supergirl said. Then Guy got called back to OO on Green Lantern business, so it's down to me, I guess. Any ideas, Ray? I'm fresh out. I sympathize, Carl. The Atom replied, there's someone I'd like you to meet, someone with a personal stake in the Kryb situation. Her name is Lucia Oh no, Lucia Calavera. Okay, that answered that question. um, right, the what color lantern is she again? Supergirl asked. Blue. Now, thankfully, Adam said, I just found out her niece Hope was one of those abducted by Kryb on Mogo, so you can see why she'd be interested in helping you out. Yeah, Supergirl said, frowning slightly. I can. Give me her deets. I'll get in touch. Oh, and you might consider bringing a tracking specialist, Adam said, grinning. Someone with a nose for trouble. I know just the best boy for the job, Supergirl said with a smile. Thanks, Ray. You're awesome. Good luck, kiddo, Adam said. Don't hesitate to call in the league if things go sideways. Okay, we've got your back. You got it, Supergirl said. Talk soon, Kay. I need to find this blue lantern and get to the bottom of things. Bye. As Supergirl teleported to her next destination, the veteran Justice Leaguer returned to monitor duty with a smile. Kids today always running straight into danger, no matter the odds. Adam thought to himself, reminds me of a few folks I know that used to meet up in an old cave to talk about truth and justice. Ooh, okay. That's uh that's a good way to really end off that blog, because now that I feel like that ties into the next one. You know, that has me having a whole lot of questions um and thoughts, because I know in one of my videos, or not in one of my videos, but one of the that girl from AU live streams, I know I was talking about my speculation on the next episode being Superman based or Kryptonian based, so I guess I was right on that end being Kryptonian. I just wasn't expecting Supergirl. But tying in to what's going down with everything, uh, crypto's back to being involved, which is good. Um, Getting the answer on Hope being involved or mentioned, that was actually the answer right there. Adam said, and Lucia Calvalera, whatever, however you say her last name, but she's back in the situation as a Blue Lantern still, so it looks like we have her again, or still in the situation, or still into cahoots, which we'll probably get into the next blog. But the ending has me questioning a lot. So it seems like what it's going to be, if I were to kind of give a speculation on everything, mind you, this is just a speculation. This is just something that I'm throwing out there. This isn't something that's going to actually happen. I don't know. But I feel like when it comes to this next story arc after this one, it's going to be Supergirl and the Justice League. I have a feeling it's going to be Supergirl and the Justice League, which will be pretty awesome if we get Supergirl in the Justice League. Um, Getting involved with Kryb and possibly um, I would probably say Dark Side and Apocalypse because that was the only other big bad mentioned um, in this first blog. But I actually can't wait to see what's going on this coming or these few next blogs. I genuinely can't wait for it. I know a lot of people are probably just as hyped as me, but yeah, let's get down into it. But that's pretty much the blog. Um, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope you all enjoyed me talking about it. And if you have anything or speculations that you would like to put out in the comment section down below, you're more than welcome. Um, if you want to talk about it in any way, shape, or form, we're definitely going to talk about it. I'm willing to talk about it in the comment section down below, whatever the case may be. Give me your thoughts and opinions on it. Just, let's have a conversation about it. Other than that, I will see you all in the next video or in the next blog or whatever else I figure out to post. But I'll see you all next time and have a nice day, everyone.